Hey, witty banter, ho! We're gonna give this a shot, folks. This is first-person pinball. It's not good, but we're gonna give it a shot. You can see that the again the baffling football graphics. Again, if someone's got a localized version of this that has another picture, I'd be interested in hearing about it. You know, the Amiga has a lot of different versions and stuff, so there's probably I would not be terribly surprised to find different versions of this floating around, like maybe different pictures. You can see by the way the ball's bouncing around that I mean, it didn't even hit the flipper right there. See, look at that! It just bounced. I mean. Gravity and physics have no place here. Now, if you have a look at the 3D first-person shot, one of the things that plagues it is the fact that the background is gray, and you have no sense of where you're at on the table. It's just a void, you know, out there. It's very strange. I mean, the physics on this are they're really quite baffling, to be honest with you, as to how they work. There's no rule set of any kind. Again, not to sit here and just kill this thing, but it's I lost the ball. It's got some issues. So let's try this again. As you can see, there's no skill shot or anything like that. These mystery wheels. The mystery wheel doesn't help.
All right, Aaron, stop talking for a second. Shut up. All right, it looks like you're picking up my voice. Okay. All right, we're good to go. The sound's on.
Can I start talking again, Mr. Boat?
Start talking again.
Anyway, before I was really interrupted, the wheel, the little moving target, I don't know what exactly happens when. I mean, you hit them, you get some points. If the wheel, if maybe you could knock the legs off or something, that might be interesting. But there are no targets that go away. You know, pretty much you're just. It reminds me, like I said, it's a lot like an Arkanoid or a Pong type game, except those have better ball physics than this. The ball is ugly, jagged affair. It's almost like you're, a ping pong ball or something.
Do you know what the up and down arrows do? Like if you press down on the arrow keys after you launch the ball, you can go, that happens, but I don't know what that means. Like you can push up and that arrow will face up, I think. I don't know if you have arrow keys on that little...
I do. And I just pressed one and I didn't see anything happen.
Alright. I might have just been hallucinating. Maybe it's when it's when your ball is going up on the play field. It's facing up, and when it's heading down towards the out lanes.
A brilliant feature. Yeah, if there's someone out here that is a real superstar of this game, and is sitting there screaming at how stupid the dumb Americans are, feel free to fill us in on this particular title, because I'm not getting it.
It's funny, we were talking about before how they've got this, it's very arcadey in its kind of scoring too, because they have all 4 scores up on the screen at the same time, much like a real 4-player arcade machine would, but not one of this era, one of the old real scoring.
Well, a lot of digital machines had 4.
That's true. That's true. Now, you don't own any 4-player machines, do you? That have the 4 scores up there?
Yeah. Actually, Firepower 2, I believe, has 4 scores on it. The homie, I mean, I had to go back at least. It's sad that I haven't seen my own pinball machines for a while, so right. But I'm pretty sure it's got a 4-player capability. So yeah, there were some. That's not unusual.
I don't know what the football players are doing. I guess they're high-fiving.
Yeah, I was just talking. Yeah, or they're, yeah. Let's go with that. Any thoughts on that thing that moves around?
The spinner?
No, the red thing.
Oh no.
I tried to hit the crap out of it. I thought it looks like a Lego piece.
Right.
I thought something might happen.
I thought maybe if you hit it in the middle of it, something would happen. but I don't think it does. Because you just hit it, and same thing with the that hole there. You know, this really reminds me of a more colorful version of the Bill Budge pinball construction set.
Where'd the ball go?
Let's see. I think it's gone.
What?
It's still in first. It's still with us in first person mode.
Where'd it
Looks
go?
like it's trapped inside. Looks like it's trapped inside a wall. Oh yeah, I see it.
Where's it at?
It's on. It's stuck, but it's on the left side of the triangle. See the big
Oh
purple triangle?
crap!
Yeah.
This is another problem with this machine. Is like this happens a lot.
Oh, you freed it. There we go. We're back.
No, I don't know what's going on.
Okay.
Okay, I have no idea what I just did. I don't know how I did that. Yay for me, because I was
Good
afraid
job. You're a pinball wizard.
I was got to stop playing. Hey, I've already bested my personal high, and this record will stand forever because I'm not playing this one again ever.
But yeah, I had that ball ricocheting around all four of those bumpers. It was just, I could have left it alone forever. I should have left it alone to see if
I thought about doing that myself, but I ended up having to do something. I was like, well, I don't want to leave the thing running. Yeah, it was the same thing. It came through one of those gates on the right and just hit one of the bumpers and just continuously bumped.
Now, you did not.
It was like Ric Flair.
You did not play this on the Amiga, right?
Huh? No, I did play this on the Amiga.
You did play this
yeah,
on the Amiga. Okay.
I played them both actually. Yeah.
Now, did you have the same sort of technical problems on the Amiga?
Oh yeah. This is not an emulation
It's not,
system.
don't blame the company.
No. I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, the company that made this was a budget player, and so it wouldn't surprise me. Hey, all right, whoa.
A little out of control. The that keypad is.
No, this happened to me when I played it on as well.
Oh, really?
When I played it on the emulation version. I'm getting this, y'all.
Just a little bit at a time. That's good, because, yeah, and then just...
Up.
There we go.
Ah, that's somehow for you. You want to take the helm, Scotty?
I'll give it a shot.
If you're going to subject me to this thing, you might as well get you a taste. Hold on, folks.
Alright, I'll play a game in first person, see if I can.
So move this along. All right, folks. He's taking over the helm here. He's going to attempt to play this in first-person mode. So this shouldn't take long.
So let's see here. How do I...
You want to go over to...
There we go.
That's the one.
And then...
You notice how it defaults to overhead. Good move.
Do you know what GT is?
I didn't try GT.
Gran Turismo?
I don't think so. That would be...
Okay, you know, I wonder if, you know, you've got the different kind of bounce settings and stuff.
Yeah.
I just don't feel like it would make any difference.
I tinkered with him. It made the difference you would expect. How about that? You picked the wrong mode, but that's okay.
No! That's exactly what I did, and I told you it didn't work.
Oh, actually, once you flip it, it may zoom in. I remember. I couldn't think of it.
No, I don't. Oh yeah,
there it is.
Okay,
that's what it
so
was.
that was the problem at the first.
Yeah,
first
that's what it was.
Okay, so I'm off and running.
Now you can't see your own flippers. There's that.
There's that
thing.
spinner. Yep.
One thing that I can't figure out is why they had the ball going towards your flippers, as opposed to the flippers being.
Yeah, they should have
near the
reversed
bottom.
the whole thing.
Yeah, that.
I guess because you spend so much more time in pinball heading down towards the end instead of going up. Maybe.
The gray void that you're in doesn't help.
No. How do you launch the ball?
You have to hold the
down arrow, right?
The space bar, I think, will also do it.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
You're thinking of
The other one.
It's funny that spinny gizmo looks a lot better on this than it does on the.
It does.
Like right now, what's your strategy here?
Well, I'm waiting until what appears to be a flipper shape appears on my screen. Then I press those
Flip like
buttons as
mad.
fast as I can. As you can see, it's working out great.
I do like how they've actually managed to get the football guys in this part.
Yeah, you couldn't do
They're
without
high-fiving
those
your
guys.
Those guys are high-fiving that you spent $10 on this. That's their high. Yes, another sucker.
One thing that I wish that our research could unveil is the original price of some of these games.
It's hard to find pricing information.
Yeah, for some reason, even on good sites like, oh boy, what's going on here?
Look at the ball.
The ball's just trucking along.
Rolling.
Yeah.
Whoop.
Yeah. Whoa. Okay, I'm not pressing anything now. I keep hitting the hole. All right. But yeah, even on Limited Amiga and stuff like that, you can never find prices.
You know, the funny thing is, if you boil this down, there is some scaling occurring of some sort.
Things are actually getting bigger.
I mean, it's not real time scaling. I'm assuming it's just they're flashed up another.
Right, but yeah, things do get bigger and smaller.
I mean, it's sort of. I'm not gonna say it works because that's not true, but it's an effort at maybe thinking about something that could work.
I've gotten some good rebounds. There's been twice that I've managed to hit it back onto the playfield.
You're getting better at it.
Ooh.
What happened there?
I hit that hole, the warp hole. The thing is, though, I think it always just warps you back out of the same place. So it's not so much a warp as a...
Now, you'll recall you have several flippers. Have you been able to use the other ones any kind?
Well, it's possible that I have, and I just never know, because they're yellow. I think they're the only things in the game that are yellow.
What about those posts?
Well, not that particular shade of yellow. Flipper-shaped yellow objects.
I like how the ball just occasionally will just disappear. Oh.
Well, we're almost down to the last ball. I can't hardly stand it. I think I've been pressing the Windows key, too, instead of Alt sometimes. And
well done.
not helped me. I like this tune, this song, but it definitely wears on you after a while.
When you attach it to this,
yeah,
you know, Beethoven couldn't have got a song over.
This really would be more suited to a casino type game. I was thinking about Casino Kid. Did you ever play that on the NES?
Nope, I'm not an NES guy.
Yeah, there's really early gambling game. Oh my gosh!
You forgot 4 balls. You get a good score going. Somehow.
That last ball helped me. I've got a goal though. I want to try and get it up to those other flippers. It's hard to just kind of get it around to the other parts of the playfield. Okay, those were the flippers.
No. I like the fact that they've actually attempted to render the light bounce off the ball, the reflection, you know, and the table reflects at the bottom, and the make it sort of look like it's rolling.
Yeah. That was a nice little touch.
Top 5, Boat.
It was a tough battle.
Here comes the true difficult part of the game: entering with your name.
Okay, it says like two forward, 1 back. See? Nope. Oh, I was hoping to bring it on back.
Yeah.
At least I got all 3 in there. All right.
Move us along, Boat.
I feel like it's time to stop this.
You might as well just keep on playing.
Let's see.
F12, sir.
Nope. It's going to be end on the company things.
No, you can quit. You can quit right there.
That's for losers. Where's the end button?
Subway and Cirrus Software. Did you see that?
That's good. Probably don't need to have that up on the screen.
I'm guessing those are the developers, and Tyne was the publisher.
That's right.
Fourth one down. 5th one. That's an opening. That wakes you up.
Oh, I need to do that again. Sorry. We need to turn down the volume on the game audio, obviously. And for that, we need F12. One thing, it's hard to complain about the company because they do such a good job, but I wish that they would save your preferences when you close a game.
Yeah, it seems like there's a way to do that, but I'll have to look into that. I don't use the company stuff as much as you do, so I don't fool with it that much. But I just wonder there's a way you can save your stuff.
I'm sure there is an actual WinUAE.
Once I get that power adapter, you can move into the realm of
the real thing. I'm looking forward to it.
That's cool. What a cool picture. And that's back in an era where cool pictures meant something. It really is.
Yeah. See, when I first saw all this stuff, I was just thinking, boy, this is going to be a lot of pretty pictures, but the gameplay is not going to be very good, just like, 3DO games and stuff like that. But there's Olaf and Ulf, Marcus,
they are.
Barry Simpson. Which one?
You notice they didn't have anyone that did the music.
Yeah.
According to the interview I read, pick 4. I want to see something real quick.
Okay.
And just so we can see, I want to see that I was with the name thing. According to what I read from the 21st century gentlemen, graveyards. They
Let's start with Graveyard.
They had a committee at 21st Century Entertainment. Again, this makes it sound like 21st Century Entertainment did a bunch of stuff, but like I said, mostly what I could tell, he did most of the pinball stuff. But they had a committee that would pick guys to do different stuff. And in the interview, he mentioned that he had a 17-year-old composer that was quite good. But he didn't mention his name, and I don't know if he worked on this title, and I didn't see who did the music for the title. They did a good job.
You know
way, it's
what
F1.
I think? It's F1? Okay. All right, we're off. I'm already having more fun.
But from what I read, they changed this around on the NES, on the Super Nintendo version to have the same name.
Yeah, I definitely remember seeing Pinball Dreams. I don't know if I ever played it, but I've definitely seen the box for it when I was renting games growing up.
You see how those? Well, nice work, eh?
Yeah.
You see how the line of lights coincide with the ramps and the lanes. They're useful for aiming, which is what I use. That's the easiest way to aim from the bottom. And generally, if you aim for those, you can get it up there.
Nice sound. The pop bunker sound realistic. You know?
Yeah. They did a good job with the sound effects.
Oops. Well, I'm not going to be setting the world on fire this game. Let's see.
It's funny, horror themes are popular in pinball. And this one's okay. The graphics are okay, but it sort of left me flat in some ways. In terms of the theme.
Yeah.
You could have done more. I mean, it's just like there's not much going on here. It's nothing like Beatbox where there's like, it's every piece of the real estate's got something cooking on.
Right, and there are those ramp lane things
yeah.
that I couldn't remember. I'm gonna give this one more shot. I figure we'll each play a couple games on each table.
Nice work.
Man.
No
auto save.
Yeah. Men were men.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, this, ordinarily, like I said, I'm a big fan of Haunted House and, pretty much any kind of, supernatural theme in a pinball machine.
Yeah.
But this one, it's got a picture of a graveyard on it. Ghost up in the corner.
You know what it looks like? If you take a look at this table, I was just thinking about it. It's like, you remember when you were in high school and this stuff was really cool, and you're like, I could picture a group of guys, maybe it's this way in Sweden too. It's like, man, how about a picture of a graveyard? We'll put some blood on there, and we'll put some skulls on it, and we'll put dye on there. That'll be, man. That's what we'll do. That'll be cool, And then let's listen to some Slayer while we're doing it. Oh yeah. And so you end up with a sort of a kind of a generic a theme.
Right.
Now,
right.
granted, there's limited space, but again, upside down crosses, that'll be cool. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's,
just
that's
all the
easily the
tropes.
weakest. Of,
Yeah.
the graphically. If you've played a game like any of the Elvira games or something like that, where they interject a little bit of humor, and and this one where they don't have interject any humor. But there are plenty of humorless horror games that you can, like Dracula, what comes to mind. There's room. This one that like what is that? When it says graveyard, what are we looking at? Even it looks like a cityscape, or something. I'm not sure what's going on there. Yeah, that much said, I'm sitting here killing it. I mean, it's a fun machine.
Mm-hmm.
And it was not my least favorite. It just
Yeah.
the theme was not. They didn't do much with it.
So we'll quit out of there and we'll go over to. I'm gonna save beatbox for last.
All right.
Ignition.
I spent the least amount of time with Ignition, so I'm looking for.
I don't know. There was just something about the. I don't know. Maybe it's just because it just reminded me of all those. Yeah, I like Space Cadet Pinball. I thought it was fun.
Oh god. This one it has no ramps.
Yeah, that's true.
And no no overhead lanes or anything like that. And again, now and this may have been part of they may have kept it simple to for processor purposes or whatever, but it's kind of a simple background. But I mean,
it's kind of nice though because like you get a variety of tables again. Graveyard it had ramps and stuff, and this one's a flat table. And there's that center post. I love it. I love it.
Egg that one. Something we didn't tap into much on the podcast is the display of the score. They use that to a very good degree. I thought. I mean, it's in time. It's in line with the way things were used in the arcade, arcade pinball machines. I like the fact that they rendered the unlit, segments up there, so you get that feel. I mean, everything about it. They did everything to get you right back into the into an arcade theme.
Absolutely. It's kind of funny how the rocket is lifting off from that kind of brickyard.
I assumed it was a wall.
Okay, that makes sense.
Have you ever seen that Twilight Zone episode where these people, the Earth's going to have a nuclear war, and these people are trying to steal a rocket ship to get off? It's not the planet's going to have a nuclear war, and they have to go across a wall to get to it. Now, for some reason, that's what this reminds me of. These guys are, and it was, of course, the generic rocket ship that you would have expected in a Twilight Zone episode, sort of like that one. It turns out they were flying to Earth, not from it. That was the twist. Yeah.
The music's not bad in this.
Yeah. Oh, none of the tunes are bad.
Yeah.
And for pinball, they're perfectly adequate.
In fact, I've played a lot of pinball machines where the music's been worse.
You mean actual pinball machines?
Yeah, actual pinball machines.
If you want to hear some bad in-game sound, play Mr. and Mrs. Pac-Man.
Oh, yeah. That is...
My brother wanted to turn it off. I was like, no, leave it on.
Can you turn it off?
Yeah, you can turn it off.
Oh.
They can't all be, gore and stuff. They got to have some Gorgar or whatever.
Right.
Some are not good.
This has got that same kind of synthy thing that I like about Taxi too. It's got that wow, wow. That, of course, that's more of a I don't know what you'd call that.
It's funny
Pinball funk.
In the interview I read with the 21st Century Entertainment guy, he was asked if they had tried to secure the rights to real tables.
Mm-hmm.
And he mentioned that they had.
Really?
And he said that it wasn't doable, which I'm going to go on the assumption it wasn't doable for copyright reasons.
Mm.
But apparently they had looked into, putting out some of these things with the real tables, which, if you think about it, in '92, if they started putting out proper tables in this format, and then moved on to what the tables that we see now in 3D, you may have had a whole new player in the pinball.
Oh,
game.
yeah. Steve Ritchie and all those guys would have had some real competition.
Oh.
One thing the center post, what's good about the center post too, is it doesn't make nudging as important, and I'm not a big nudger, so
I didn't find myself using the tilt feature that much. I usually use it for the skill shot or to move stuff down the lanes I wanted, you know.
All right, let's move on. Steel wheel. Maybe I'll like this more this time.
See, it's got a much more fleshed out, decorative feel. The train is nice. The saloon up there, it's got the town. You know, it's. I like the fact that the lights are different types of train cars. You know, which I think is cool.
Right.
Like I said, I was a fan of this one. I actually liked it. There are some things I don't like about it, but I mean, overall, I think the art package is quite nice.
It's got a multiplier on the out lanes there. That's kind of neat. I never figured out what the arrows on the those lanes did.
What do you mean? You're trying to you don't want to go down if they're lane switch. You see?
Oh, is that all it is?
Well, for this, it's also when there's a skill shot up there too. When you hit the skill shot, you do want to go down the flashing arrow. When you are playing after the skill shot, you want to go down the unlit ones.
It's neat. Neat sound effects.
Oh yeah.
Okay, maybe I don't hate this as much.
Yeah,
as
I like the fact
did.
that you're riding the train. It's like,
Yeah.
you're getting your tickets.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
I was actually when you were killing this, I was surprised. I kind of dug this one.
Part of the problem was, we did 2 games this week, and we did, but this game was really like 4 games.
Right.
And so I probably didn't give each table as much of a chance as I should have.
Yeah.
Skill
I'd like
shot.
to have seen this table. My biggest complaint is that set of lights. That corner there on the left around all it is a nothing but lights to show that as you progress that bonus. And it looks crowded up there. If you look at all the stuff up there, you got 7 of those arrows, and you've got another. Then you've got the thing underneath it, which I think that's the wheel when the wheel goes around.
Whatever your prize
which
is.
I like, and also I'd like to have seen it. Usually you stick the ball up there and the wheel spins. I'd like to have seen an actual spinny thing.
Right. I guess it ran into maybe just dealing with the 3D aspects, modeling it so you could see it from top down.
Or maybe this is just what they envision, but I don't think I've ever seen a machine with that sort of set up in the corner, and you wouldn't see one. That's the one thing I don't like, and I think that keeps this from being even more popular with me. If it had a little more, like, you'd have room for a decoration or something up there, I probably would have done it a little bit differently. But I guess I'm guessing the reason that it's done like that is to comply with the rule set. Those are things you had to have.
Right. They had to stick them somewhere.
Right.
Our music went away.
You probably hit a button that turns it off.
Maybe.
Which is okay. Nice work.
Out of track. All right, so that's actually a respectable score.
I like that one. I like the music's different too on that one.
Right. Okay, now we're going. Oh, I didn't score high enough to get
It would be something of a chore when someone says, "Listen, we need 4 different pinball machines, completely different themes, with 4 different art packages and music sets. Go make them."
Well, it's funny because I've got if you look over there, I've got a Pro Pinball Epic Journey or something like that for the PlayStation 1. And that was a game. Oh, shoot, I picked the wrong game. That was one pinball machine, on one disc. And so all the way up through the PlayStation era, they were releasing, 1 game per disc. And to have 4 tables of this quality on 1 game is pretty spectacular. Here we go.
You know, it's funny after playing. We were talking about Devil's Crush earlier and stuff, which I like Devil's Crush. I like Metroid Pinball. You know, but I'll take these over those. I hate to say it. I'm not bragging on those.
Hey, I wonder if it saved my score. Let's wait for it to scroll one more time. Come on.
What do you think? What is that in the middle of the playfield right there? Is it just a hair? That's a guy's hair.
Yeah, it saved my score from last time. That's good. So I got 4 million something. The guy's hair. Oh, boy, that looks like some sort of elder
a robot
god.
with a.
That's weird. I don't want to look at it.
This is as big as I've seen it because we're on Boat's big TV. I think. I don't really know what the hell that is. Do you have any idea?
No. That's weird. But yeah, the music's great.
It's got a ramp system where you've got a lot of underneath area. I like that U-turn right there. I always think those are kind of neat.
So I've got my video. It's funny, you get the maxi single.
Yeah, I was thinking about the same thing. I remember we would get those. We would get imports from the UK for, like, my buddy was a big Samantha Fox fan. Believe it or not, her music.
I don't even know who that is.
Her other assets, and I remember him importing her the 12-inch maxi singles, or the with the two different sides of the same song remixed for "Touch Me." My other friend was a fan of what was their name? Oh, it hit me. They sang "Pure Energy." Remember that song? You don't remember that song? It had Leonard Nimoy was in it. Pure Energy, man. Information Society. That's
Okay.
what it was. And he imported their single, Big Mac, the big 12-inch singles, and of course they eventually went to the single tapes. You remember those?
Yeah, Singles.
Yeah, those suck.
Yeah, that was, see, you know, I grew up in a time when the Casingle was really in its heyday. I owned several Casingles, but I never owned any record singles. That was after my time.
Really?
Yeah,
It's funny now that you've got a substantial collective vinyl.
Yeah, well, actually, I just ended up selling most of it. I've only got, I went down from having probably 1,000 records to 50.
Why did you sell all your records, Boat?
Well, have you ever moved records?
I own comic books.
Okay, so it's the same thing. And the thing is, with the records that I own, I only kept, you know, when I had my first sell-off, I only kept the really valuable ones. And then I was afraid to play them because I was afraid I'd scratch them when I played them. So I was like, why do I have all these records that I'm afraid to play? And
Valid point.
so the only ones I have left, I've got, you know, all the Beatles Parlophone stuff, the yellow and black label that I got when I was in England. I don't know if I ever told you, but I was working at an Oxfam. I was volunteering at, do you know what Oxfam is?
It's the family of an ox.
Oxfam is a charity organization. They're kind of like Goodwills. They're all over England, but they're higher quality Goodwills.
Thank God.
Yeah, they don't sell junk. All the stuff for sale there is usually pretty good. But anyway, somebody died, like you know, somebody around our age, maybe closer to your age, and he had this huge record collection, and it was my job at Oxfam to price the records.
Right.
And so, you know, I priced them at what I thought they were worth, but nobody was buying them. So every week or so, you know, I'd mark everything down. And when they got down to the point where, you know, I was like, wow, this is a pretty good deal, I ended up picking a lot of them up. And
you were being very honest there, weren't you?
yeah, I was trying to sell them for what they were worth, but we had constant stock moving in and out. And So that's how I ended up with those. And I kept those, and I kept some Beach Boys stuff because I like that. Some Jens Linkman talking about Swedish people. He's one of my favorite singers, a Swede.
Do we have any listeners in Sweden?
Yeah, actually, Sweden was. I looked at our statistics today, and Sweden was number 3. It was USA, then Finland, then Sweden, something like that.
These games are Sweden's gift to the world, much like ABBA.
Yeah, true.
Whom I love, love.
Well, it's time for you to step it up to the plate.
Let me in there. Hold on, folks. We're gonna do a do-si-do.
I can't wait to do micro league wrestling next week. Aaron is he probably knows a little bit less about wrestling than most Hall of Fame pro wrestlers, but only a little bit. He knows everything about everybody, and so I look forward to it as much for it.
I've wasted my life
as anything else.
Were you playing with the keyboard?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's give this a whirl, folks. We should be awesome at these since we own pinball machines. Tell them what you own, Bo. That's a pretty good thing to do.
So I've only got one pinball machine. I've got it's called It's called Triple Action.
What's it called?
At it.
Shows you how often he plays.
It's from 1974. It's a Williams game. I picked it up for a very, very good deal.
Yes, you got an excellent deal on that boat, if I may say.
And Aaron helped me truck it home in his truck.
Yeah, I did do that. I forgot about that.
It was a scary situation because we were trying to beat the rain, because rain and pinball machines don't get along. And so, but we got it home, and
boy, it cleaned up nice too, didn't it?
Yeah, I have all my stuff down in the basement, and so getting it down to the basement, just like all my big things, was an adventure in itself. But yeah, there wasn't really anything wrong with it electronically. I had to adjust some switches and things, but those old games, there are so many things that can go wrong on an old solid state pinball machine, and I was just really lucky because I have no real mechanical ability whatsoever. Aaron, what's your current pinball collection looking like these days?
Oh, let me think about this for a minute. We've got Firepower 2.
So this when Brent's talking about, or Aaron's talking about, him and his brother Brent kind of share the collection. You might remember Brent from our second live stream when we did Super Frog.
Yes, we've got Firepower 2, which is quite a good game, pretty rare. We've got Mr. and Mrs. Pac-Man, which is a pretty good game, not that rare. We've got WWF Royal Rumble, I love that game. It was like he said, I'm a big wrestling fan, and we got a good deal on it at the time. It's a fun game. We've also got Who Done It, which is my brother's game. We both own it, but that's the game he wanted. Who Done It's a real fun game if you are into pinball. We also have our most recent pickup is Coney Island, which was a really fun, good deal we got on it. It needs a flipper repaired on it right now, but it's a fun game. It was a lot like these games we're playing here. It has the digital readout and doesn't have, but it's based on an amusement park. Coney Island I guess is Coney Island world famous boat, you think? Or?
Probably not. But
yeah, Coney Island's a vacation spot around New York that has been around for about 1 million years, and this game is sort of a tribute to it, I guess. Made by it's made by kind of an off company too, a real weird company.
Who is the company?
Gosh, I can't remember. It's right off the top of my head. They didn't make that many machines either. They only made 2.
No, I think Coney Island wasn't it available in both solid state and alphanumeric? I guess it's not alphanumeric. It's just an EM versus solid state. That's what I'm trying to
I'm not 100% sure about that. I'll be honest with you. I think it may have.
I might have been thinking about it.
In the old days, they would use the same pinball machine and just relabel it, and sometimes they would do that. I'm not sure if that's what I'm. Like I said, the company that made it didn't make that many machines. I don't think that one. I know something you're thinking of is for example, Gorgar had the option to use chimes or digital sound. So that one comes to mind, and I'm sure there were machines that had
Yeah, I know
a
that
digital
they were
readout and a
definitely
real
machines
shoot.
because the,
I'm off and running, aren't I?
you can get, if you look at rarity, sometimes the EM version, the electromagnetic version, will be more rare than the solid state, or the other way around.
Yeah. And then we've got a virtual pinball machine as well, which is in various degrees of being done. It's a if anyone out there's a pinball really into it, we had a machine called what was it? Galaxy, no Star. What was that thing called?
The little cocktail.
Yeah, we have. It's from Coffee Mate. It's a cocktail pinball machine.
And so if you can
it was super obscure. Another company that made very few machines, but we ended up pulling out the playfield and turn it into a virtual pinball machine, which with varying degrees of success. But
if you're not familiar with cocktail pinball, it's kind of a unique concept where they take a pinball table and they kind of square it off and shrink it down. And it's about the same size. If you've ever seen a cocktail, Frogger or something like that, it's a little bit bigger than that, but not too much. And I think there were only two pinball cocktail tables.
Oh no, there were way more than that.
Oh, okay.
The Coffee Mate made 3 or 4, and then but you had and you got some real wacky ones too. You've got Roy Clark has
that's
one.
The one I always think of.
Also, there's another music one too. Is it Kenny Rogers or something like that?
Really?
It's something. And then you've got just some generic ones. I don't recall any.
I think there's also.
No one's clamoring to get hold of these things anymore, but they're a good space saver if you're.
And I mean, it's a neat curiosity thing.
It is. See, but watch, skill shot, 1,000,000 points right there.
That's an easy 1,000,000 points.
Yeah. Gosh, I'm not getting any luck. This is just like real pinball. Sometimes you get set down and you just flat out stink.
Yeah.
This reminds you. The little car lights remind me of Ticket to Ride.
That's exactly what I was thinking. I wish I would have said that earlier, but I was thinking the exact same thing.
Free board game types out there, which I know there's a lot of Europeans that are into board games, since we play a lot of European games. So I'm sure you guys. Although I think that's an American board game.
That's the one exception.
Yeah, because most of what we play is German.
Mm-hmm. I think. Have you played Mad King Ludwig yet?
I have not. No.
That is everybody's new favorite game in our little group. We need whenever you're around next time when we're playing, we'll pull it out. It's great.
But I am not endangering your scores here.
To be fair, though, that little keyboard is not great.
It's doing a good job. I'm not in any trouble. It's just I'm not very good. Shoot.
I like this music.
I told you. This is a solid number 2 for me. That's good, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Let's try that one more time. I like the way they did the lighting too. I mean, you have no trouble telling what's lit.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
You do have some shadows, which is, it adds to the realism. But the
oh yeah, that's a good start. Oh.
You've already got the 3x multiplier.
Yeah, I got real lucky right out of the gate on that.
Oh, bad luck.
I think the track placement, the placement of the stuff on this one is very good too. I mean, this was a well-designed one. I believe this is the popular one of the 4.
Is it?
Amongst now, you got the listeners can tell me if I'm wrong, but I seem to recall that this was the one that was the. You get a lot of these collections though.
Huh.
Did you see the train?
Graphic depiction of the mail wagon.
You get a lot of these collections though that just have like 1 or 2, and maybe 2, and then some duds. I used to get these on the PC all the time. It used to drive me bananas. You'd have It was just like it was just like an album back in the day. You'd have a couple hits, and then they'd put some filler on there. But it's very rare to get 4 solid titles. I'd say 3 of these 4 are pretty darn good.
Yeah.
And then 1's not bad.
None of them are terrible. Now, when it's telling you to get the wheel score, what exactly are they telling you?
Well, there's a. I'm gonna try to see up there. See where that thing's like spin lights flashing. There's a capture up there. If you get the ball up in there, it spins the wheel.
Oh, okay.
I've been trying to get it up there, but I keep going around the bend.
I
It's
see.
kind of hard.
Ooh.
Oh. Oh, crap. Oh, come on, man. That wasn't my last ball, was it? All right. In it with a chance. I had a good game of this.
Yeah.
Get in there. 2 million right there. It's funny when you don't get a good shot on these. I mean, that's much like pinball. Sometimes you flipper. There it is. That would have spun it if it had been lit. Ah. That wasn't bad. That wasn't bad. Got my name in anyway.
Do you think there are any themes left that haven't been touched by pinball?
It's funny. Yeah, oh yeah. Goodness gracious, yes. In real life, you mean?
Yeah.
It's funny. We were just talking on Facebook. I've always wanted a Mystery Science Theater pinball machine. It's like my dream machine. I would love to have one.
That would be cool.
There's room for a Bond machine. You know, they had GoldenEye. That was okay, but I think there's room for an all-encompassing James Bond machine,
Right.
sort of like Doctor Who.
I was thinking that because you got to play multiple Doctors, right?
Yeah. Now Doctor Who wasn't the perfect machine, but they got that part right. You know,
Yeah, that
I would
would
not
be
be surprised if a Doctor Who machine, a new one, comes out sometime.
Oh, I'm surprised that one hasn't come out already. Given
Well,
Doctor Who is more popular now than it's ever been in
yeah.
its
Well,
history.
they've got one thing that Doctor Who's got is that all that past they can build on, and they could do better. I was not a huge fan of that. I like Doctor Who. I like the way that machine looked. The sound effects were good. The graphics were good, but I wasn't a fan of the actual layout of the board, the way it played.
You know, I wonder because you know my students they're in middle school and they a ton of them they just talk about Doctor Who all the time.
Really,
But-
that's so weird to hear.
But
In
I don't know
America.
if any of them have any idea about the classic Doctors.
A lot of people I talk to that are younger, that's like the dark ages to them. They don't.
It's not like Star Wars, where like pretty much any Star Wars fan is going to know about Han Solo, even though he wasn't in the prequels.
Well, the funny thing about Doctor Who is when they started Doctor Who again with was it Eccleston?
Tom Landry.
Tom Landry. What the hell? That's the football coach of the Cowboys. Anyway, which was I guess was around 2000 or something like that. It was almost like a reboot because the show is a lot different than it was, but they didn't reboot. Their history's still there. It's
still canon.
They still
as
use
they say.
they still use the same creatures and some of the same history, and they go through and cherry pick stuff to use in the show. So it was just enough to appease grumpy old bastards like myself, who grew up watching the original show. The new show is. I don't know. Maybe I don't know. I don't think it'll offend anybody when I say the new show is very American to me, and the old show is very British. Does that make any sense?
Well, they obviously take elements of contemporary American.
Well, I mean, it's
action
still a
TV.
British show, but yeah, I mean, the old show was
It's
to
probably
me was
slower
more
moving.
cerebral. It was
Yeah.
definitely a slower movie. It was more cerebral, and it was the Doctor was not a fighter or a badass. There was an episode a couple years ago where the doctor was he was fighting a bunch of aliens. He's like, yeah, I've kicked all your butts. Come on, try me. Someone basically was calling the aliens out, and the original doctors would never have done that. That scene wouldn't exist because he's not a guy that calls people out. He's like, come on, let's go for it. And one time he was sword fighting a guy. Just that stuff didn't happen that much in the old show. He used his wits and he was in his mouth to get out of stuff. So but that much said, I still watch the show. It aggravates me more often than not, but sometimes there are often some hidden gems in there. That sucked.
Now, could you go back? And I know a lot of the original Doctor Who episodes have been lost, but there are some that are, the old black and white.
Actually, the majority of the Doctor Who shows are available.
Available, okay.
They have actually found some, and like recent. I know the last batch I heard about, they'd found some in a studio, like basically like a kitchenette or something, and they found them. They used to ship the tapes all over the place. Whoops! I think I just started a 4-player game. I did. They've come up with quite a few of these. So I've seen a lot of,
So you can go back and you can watch those original episodes and
yeah, the first Doctor Hartnell I think was his name. It's not like I said I've got some of those. I want to play because I could go over and watch them. It's not something I watch all that much. It's just they are what they are. And if you consider that it's a kids show, that's the thing people forget.
Well, I didn't realize that. So it debuted.
It was a kids show, educational kids show.
Really?
Yeah. Man, I'm going to start this game over. Look at that. And eventually it became bigger than it was more than that. But the first, that it was a show to show kids about history. And it was for children. And it's really, it's always been for the kids for the most part. Now they obviously got into more mature themes as the show ran on. I mean, if you see any of the episodes with Leela, I think it was her name, or Tila, that bikini chick that was with Tom Baker's. What was he doing, Landry?
Every time I hear Tom, I just
Tom Baker's doctor. She was a sex pot. She was something there for the men, And they've had some real hotties on there recently. They've almost all been hotties, and the boys like that, obviously, but. It's changed a lot. How did we get on the subject of Doctor Who again?
I don't even remember. Oh, we were talking about pinball.
Oh, yeah. Not my favorite. Let's try this again. Whoops. I like the tune. It's suitably sinister.
Yeah. But, again, it's
Did you see the panic button? Have you seen? I'm not sure I've seen that lit up.
No.
Have you?
I've never seen the panic. Never had to press the panic button. This kind of reminds me of not Haunted House for the classic physical pinball machine, but the one that was in the Pinball FX.
Oh yeah.
I think that tune sounds kind of like this.
I never got into pinball effects as much as everybody else did. I found the physics, the ball, everything a little too floaty for my taste. And I like the real machines, and I didn't like the ones I don't like. They had all these superhero ones and stuff.
It's just a different.
It just didn't do it for me. That doesn't mean it's wrong. For me, I didn't like the feel of it that much. I found a couple that were okay. Shh. All right, I'm gonna try this one more time. Man, I had that one good game of Steel Wheels, and everything else has been crap. I'm going to do jack squat. Timing's off. It's funny if you think about the pinball scene, right? And there is one, virtual pinball, and what's the other one? Pinball? What's the other?
Pinmain?
No, Pinmain's part of virtual. There are two big players. I should know this, but in the PC pinball. But if you think about it, the pinball. If you were a pinball fan, up until those came out on the PC, and then Epic's, the Silver Ball series, that stuff. I mean, the Amiga was hands down the man, and there was no second place. And really, for years and years,
right?
Well after the Amiga had ran its course. If you wanted something like this, I mean, you had the PC versions of this stuff, but, I'll take the Amiga version any day of the week.
Right.
There's no setup. You know how everything's a pain in the butt on the PC, too, back in the day.
Yeah, you're right.
Did you look at the PC versions of these?
I think I remember reading something though that they were not.
I think I had I had one of these, I believe, but I don't recall which one it was.
Yeah, really, I can see how the Amiga, for somebody that never really had consoles, or that wasn't into them for whatever reason, and having this, say like around 92, what do you think of 92? That's like, what's the pinnacle of PC gaming in 92? Maybe like, I guess that was when Doom and all that stuff was picking up speed, right? 92.
No, that's before Doom, I think. I think Doom was in 94 or something like that.
So I mean, it's not hard to see why the Amiga was just so superior in every way as a gaming platform to the PC.
If you look at the Amiga as a console, which you can, I mean, in essence, for most games, you take the game out, you stick it in the disk drive, and then you play it eventually. Okay. I mean, you didn't have to have a lot of computer skills. You didn't have to know anything about setting up. I mean, don't get me wrong. There would be times where that's so. If you had games that required certain types of memory configurations and stuff. But I mean, for the most part, probably 80% of Amiga games will just work. Really, they really will, and that's great. And so I can see where people, you could definitely not get a console, and like I didn't have a console, but I was more than satisfied because I had plenty of games to play on here that were pretty console-y. Shooters and fighting games and stuff.
Yeah, I mean the only area where the Amiga really lagged behind was platformers. There just weren't the quality and number of platformers on the Amiga that there were on the console. I
will say that game that DICE did, Digital Illusions, the last one they did for the Amiga, the platformer, which I've not played. I'd not heard of it until I did research for the show. They say it is tip top.
What's the name of it?
I'll have to look at my notes if I can't remember. They say I mean, I read some of the comments on it, and the comments were very impressive.
Well, we'll have to play it for the podcast.
Yeah, we might try it sometime. Shoot. All right, bud, I'm throwing in the towel here.
All right.
Hey, good name, man.
This has been a live stream for First Person Pinball and Pinball Dreams.
Yeah,
Hope
thanks.
you enjoyed it.
Thanks for tuning in, everybody, and boy, we appreciate it.
And if you'd like to subscribe to our podcast, somehow you've stumbled upon this video, it's amigospodcast.com. And we'll see you next time.
Adios.
Adios.